Hey everybody, Rebecca here for a quick follow-up video to the latest video that I put out about the Hubs and our current situation with trying to live together and get him immigrated here to the US. If you're new to the channel, I'm Rebecca. I'm showing my journey to reach financial independence and retire early. I recently married my Swedish husband in January of this year, and ever since then chaos has ensued essentially with trying to get him immigrated here to the United States where I live. Check out my last video if you want all the details on that. This video is a response to some of the comments that I was getting on that video, and first of all, let me just say that I really appreciate you guys trying to come up with suggestions and everything to help us with our situation. I mean, I know that this is all coming from really a place of love, and given our current situation, I'm really appreciative of all of that right now. And I wanted to address some of those comments and suggestions that we were getting. And I also, before I get into it, wanted to say that I will link to another video at the end of this one down in the description box below and in the first pinned comment of a video that Christopher actually made talking about this situation that we have. Christopher's my husband, and I did not ask him to make this video, but he made it just to kind of talk about things from his perspective, and I thought you guys might want to see it, so I encouraged him to make that video public so you guys could hear it in his own words. Just talking about our options and how we're trying to deal with all of this right now. So yeah, with that said, I will link to it in all of the places and you guys can check out that video after this one. So before I get into some of the specific suggestions that were made in my other video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about FIRE itself and goals. So as you're aware, FIRE is short for Financial Independence, Retire Early, but that can look like a lot of different things to a lot of people depending on what they want out of life, right? For a lot of people, FIRE to them is sort of the fat FIRE lifestyle that you may have heard about, where you save up just a ridiculously large portfolio so that you can spend as much money as you want in your retirement and do all of the things, have the big fancy house, the nice car, travel as much as you want, fine dining, whatever it means to you. That fat FIRE lifestyle is what some people are after when they pursue financial independence to retire early. A lot of people want that, and nothing wrong with it. You know, I plan on doing some traveling too whenever I reach financial independence and retire early. Do I want to travel full time, live that nomad lifestyle? No, that's not for me. And the reason I wanted to talk about goals a little bit for FIRE is because they can vary so much just depending on what someone is after out of life. So to frame all of the answers that I am going to give to all of the suggestions that were given in the previous video, I first wanted to talk about what our goal is, mine and Christopher's, when it comes to financial independence, retire early. So for us, what we are after is a simple, peaceful life. We don't want a whole lot of stress, and we don't need a whole lot of excitement. Sure, there are some things that we want to do together, of course, but having a peaceful, as much as possible, stress-free life is a big goal of ours, guys. We want a quiet life. The fat FIRE lifestyle, sure, it's appealing and it's a nice thought, but is it important to us? Is it a goal of ours? Absolutely not. So I have to point that out before I get into some of the comments that I got on the last video as far as suggestions for us to get together. So where to begin? I really should have written down notes again for this video, but I did not. I'm just winging it once again. So keeping in mind our goals for FIRE, one suggestion that I did get was to pursue the real estate path to FI. And real estate, I believe statistically, is the quickest way to build wealth, at least here in the United States, and it is a viable option for a lot of people. And sure, it could be a viable option for me to get to FIRE faster. But, this is why I talked about our goals for FIRE at the start of this video, because having rental properties, even if you have a property manager, it makes it less stressful, but it's not stress-free. And I am just not interested in landlording for sure. So I would definitely get a property manager if I had ever decided to pursue the real estate path to FI. But even then, just having the rental properties, I would stress about it mentally. In the back of my mind, I would be worrying, is the property manager doing their job? Is my renter taking care of the residents? What if they aren't telling me everything? And then on top of that, having to think about managing everything if I lived in Sweden, in another country somewhere and had rental properties here in the US, that's a complicated situation, So, while real estate is a very viable path to get to financial independence, and a lot of people choose that path, it is not a path for me. Not with how I want my FIRE goals to look. Yeah, I'm looking to simplify life, not complicate it. So that was one suggestion that we had, and the most common suggestion I would say that we got was just moving to some other country, wherever that may happen to be, where we can live together, but I can still work as an ultrasound technologist, and we can just be together. I'll continue working and building my portfolio, and then when we feel like we're both FI enough, decide what we want to do from there. So sure, that's another viable option, and I will say that nothing is off the table, but when it comes to that, there's several things that are a factor when moving to another country where I could continue working. And to keep it short, the biggest thing is really golden handcuffs, y'all. I have been at my current position for almost 7 years now, and I am spoiled. Yes, I do have kind of a rigorous schedule, working third shift like I do, but I will say that for the area that I'm in, I do make good money for the job that I have. And for me to consider moving to another country, there are so many unknowns. How much money I would make, what the tax situation would look like, how am I going to sell this house if I'm not interested in, renting it out, landlording, how am I going to deal with this giant ass dog over here, getting him immigrated to another country, and my cat as well. It's a lot of mental strain to think about moving to a different country, even just temporarily, especially considering we would likely just end up moving to Sweden later once I reached financial independence to retire early. And again, keeping our overarching goal of having a simple, peaceful life in mind, moving to another country now to move countries again later is a big stressor. It's a big thing to consider doing. Also, I appreciate the vote of confidence for you guys thinking that I have the energy to do these things. But when it comes right down to it, I am almost 40, and not to give away Christopher's exact age, but let's just say he is on the wrong side of his 40s. So, we're not in our 20s, and, you see a lot of these videos on YouTube, at least I do. I love watching people who are living that free nomad lifestyle. After delving into immigration, side note, I'm kind of wondering how it's even possible that people do this. How do they keep track of all of the taxes and everything that they need to keep track of, if they're a United States citizen anyway? But that's a tangent. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just concerned about Christopher and our situation that we have right now. But yeah, the thought of moving to another country right now is just so high on the stressor list. But that being said, like I said earlier in the video, nothing is off the table. And if things really do start dragging out, we can't see each other as much as we like, something will have to give. We'll have to figure something out. And as much trouble as it would be, moving to some other third country somewhere is an option. So that's something that we would have to continue to research and figure out what would be a good fit for us, considering our needs, and just go from there. And another factor as far as moving to a third country. I didn't mention this in my previous video purposefully, but my mom is a factor when it comes to that. So her living situation right now, she has her own home in Utah, and the place that she lives is actually a campground. So the way that that campground is designated, for them to keep that campground designation, my understanding here is that she cannot live there full time. She can't stay there throughout the entire year. She can only stay there for a maximum of 7 months out of the year. And those other 5 months, she has a room here at my house. I've mentioned before that she comes and stays here from time to time, and is certainly welcome to do that. And she visits me and she visits my siblings, and kind of splits time between the three of us during that 5 months that she can't be living at her home in Utah. So that was a big factor when it came to this whole situation. Honestly, my fire plan that we had, if things had gone smoothly, I thought that Christopher would immigrate here, I would continue working, and Mom would have a place to stay when she needed to for those 5 months that she's not allowed to be at her other house. And it was a good sort of peace of mind thing for my mom that she had a place to come and stay if she needed it for any reason. And my mom is in her 70s and is quite healthy and active, and honestly probably has more energy than I do, which I don't understand, but that seems to be the case right now. And I'm not worried about her at all long term. But in the back of my mind, long term, I thought that I would be keeping this home and she would have a place to be if she needed to. So now, if I was to move to a third country right now and work somewhere else, if I just moved to Sweden and abandoned all hope here in the US, I'm not leaving my mom high and dry or anything. I do have siblings that she can stay with as well, but it is a factor to consider. And while I am trying to figure out my own fire path and work my way to get to financial independence for my mom, it is better for her the longer that I stay where I'm at right now. And my mom is family too. Yes, Christopher is family, but so is my mom. And if it helps her to have a place to stay here at this house, then, that's a factor that I do take into consideration, continuing my work path to FI. So adding all of these things together, it just seems to be that the most obvious choice right now is for Christopher and I to continue to visit each other as often as we can, and for me to stay where I'm at and keep grinding and try to get myself to financial independence as quickly as I can, working here and living here in North Carolina. So I really do appreciate the outpouring of positive thoughts, supports, suggestions that you guys gave in the last video. It really did mean a lot to me. It's just a tough situation. We are honestly stuck between a rock and a hard place. Unfortunately, there are no good options for us. Everything is going to be weighing pros and cons, and there's more to consider than just me and just Christopher and our relationship together. I do have other things to consider besides that. So as hard as it is, the best plan is for me to just keep grinding where I'm at. I do make good money for what I do, and the ultimate goal for both of us, when I ask myself and I ask Christopher too, what is the fastest way that we can be together and both be free? That's the catch. For us to both be free and both be together, the quickest way there, I still feel like, is for me to just stay here and keep working. It sucks a lot to think about not being able to just live together and be together as a husband and wife. Hello. But that's the situation. There's just no good options, unfortunately, for us. There's nothing that is available, seemingly, that is the perfect answer for the situation that we have. So I hope you guys will take a minute to watch Christopher's video talking about all of this as well. He talks more about the Swedish like banking system and everything that's going on there that he's uncovered. So it's a good video. I will link to it down below, and it would absolutely terrify him if you guys watched that video and liked it and commented and subscribed to his channel. That would be a horrifying thing for him. So I hope you guys will go and do that for me. Yeah, I did not ask him to make a video because I know that he hates being on camera. So the fact that he was willing to even make a video at all discussing this really meant a lot to me. Thanks for doing that, hun. And yeah, I do really appreciate all of you who watched the video I put out, gave your suggestions and words of encouragement down in the comment section. It really means a lot because this has been a heavy burden to bear since we have started uncovering all of the troubles that we have. And I hope that we can find some sort of way forward for us, but as of right now, it is looking like the way forward is for me to just continue doing what I have been doing, and that is work, save, and invest. So yeah, I appreciate you guys as always, and go check out Christopher's video. He is not nearly as long-winded as I am, so that's a good thing. Thanks for watching, y'all, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, guys.